Kiwi today. We're gonna be doing a end of year roundup of kind of like all the coolest pieces that we were able to make this year. So kind of like a jewelry haul and the behind the scenes of every piece, because there's a bit of stories and like kind of like cool production things that occurred within every piece of jewelry that we made. So we're gonna kind of do like a breakdown of 2021. It should be pretty fun, and I also want to thank everybody for another amazing year in business. You know, we wouldn't be able to be here without you guys, without the trust that you guys have for us and like in making your jewelry too. So I really appreciate it. Anybody who's made custom jewelry with us knows that like you guys are very much involved in the process. So you guys are very much a part of the company. So thank you for that. And let's jump in. Alright, so the first piece that I absolutely love that we did, and one of my favorites, is we made a kind of like honeycomb dog tag for a man. It was made of 14 karat with black diamonds and rubies on the back, and it was just like a really cool piece in the sense that for one, I got carte blanche, so I was able to do whatever I wanted, which is always fun for me. But just like the production side, this piece was a really intricate piece in the sense that like if you actually look within the dog tag, all of the honeycombs were actually like different layers. They weren't actually uniform, and so in order to do that, in order to build the piece, we actually had to kind of make it into two separate pieces. So it was like a very labor intensive piece. The reason why we had to break it off in two pieces is that in order to polish the honeycombs that were like lower, to be able to polish them, we had to remove the honeycombs that were higher. So we kind of made it into like two pieces that like connected into each other. After the polishing was done, we were able to like weld them shut. So it was a very cool piece. It was very labor intensive, but the final piece came out really, really nice. We put black diamonds within it. We even were thinking about putting rhodium plating in the actual honeycombs itself, but decided that it would probably be too heavy as a piece. So we kept it blank, we kept it very sleek. This was a really important piece for my client because it was actually as a memorial piece for a loved one that had passed. So it was a pretty important piece, so I was kind of really happy to have been able to be a part of that. 2021 was a strange year in the sense that like we actually did a lot of memorial jewelry. So that was kind of like a new thing that we started doing, like ashes jewelry, commemorative jewelry, which we hadn't really done in the past. Alright, so the second pieces that I absolutely love, they were actually a set, which is pretty cool. It was for a couple in Toronto who were getting engaged, and I made the wife's engagement ring and wedding band, full eternity on both. And I made her husband's wedding band, and these pieces were like insane. So we made them with matching yellow stones. Like his wedding band, I think in total came out to almost like 12 carats. Do you know how incredibly thick that is? Like this guy's ring was literally like he looked like he was like Gucci Mane or something. Like it was really decked out. This is one of like the biggest pieces for jewelry in terms for men that I've ever made. It looks very simple, but it was actually a little bit complex in the sense that when you have princess cut pave, every single stone has to be perfectly calibrated, perfectly cut to the same measure, because otherwise those two bands of metal that are holding the stones in place, it's not going to work. They have to be perfectly aligned. And so we had to have every single stone custom cut. It was a huge piece to like mount and set. There was so many stones on this because not only are they going like around channel set, they were also going around on the sides, on the profile views as well. So it was a very cool piece, very decked out. His wife as well. We had a 3 karat oval center stone, which we had custom made as well. When you're buying an oval diamond or oval gemstone in general, there's different shapes of ovals, right? So you can have some that are more like elongated versus you can have some that are shorter and a little bit chubbier. So she specifically wanted something that was more elongated. So same thing, we had to have it custom cut. It came out absolutely stunning. We put a hidden halo underneath, which I absolutely love because like it just flows into kind of like the richness of the piece. You know, it just made it look that much more luxurious, having that like little extra diamonds. You know, you don't need diamonds underneath the halo, but we put it anyways. It was also in yellow, 18 karat yellow. So if you're looking at the piece and you find that it looks very saturated, that is the reason why, is because it's 18 karat yellow. This was another custom piece that we made, kind of more of like a one-of-a-kind piece. It was like a pearl choker with an emerald in the center, black diamonds and pearls around. So this was a really unique piece because this is not something that we have ever done before. If you look at the main charm, all around like the center, there was little pearls. And when you're working with pearls that small, it's actually really hard to have prongs, because usually what happens is you have a prong and you set the pearl on top of the prong. That's what holds it. But because the pearls were so small, we weren't actually able to like pierce them like we normally would and have them sit on like a little needle. So we had to figure out a different way of being able to incorporate the pearls without breaking them. So we actually decided to set them like prongs, which is not something that we've ever done. So this was something that we've tried out and it actually came out pretty perfect. So yeah, so instead of having a post, we actually covered the prongs like this, and that's what's holding it, like a gemstone. Inside the middle, there was black diamonds. So originally we had wanted to do black enamel, but I still wanted a little bit of flair to it. Like if I had gone the route of black enamel, I think it would have looked almost a little bit cheaper. Not that enamel is necessarily cheap, but I feel like it wouldn't have as much of like a luxurious look to it. So instead of doing that, we actually used black diamonds all around, and then we black rhodiumed inside of that ring. It gave more of like a pop to it than just having the black diamonds. If you're not familiar with black rhodium is the opposite of white rhodium. White rhodium is what we put on clients' engagement rings. That's what makes it really, really white. It's kind of like an industry standard. But they also have black rhodium, and black rhodium is not so seen in commercial like jewelry, but it is there, and it does act as like really nice accents if you want to kind of emphasize certain elements of a piece like we did. It's really superb. Of course, it has to be like indented, because otherwise if it's on a superficial layer, it will rub off over time. So you do want to keep that in mind. But anyways, this was a really cool piece. We also had the emerald custom cut. That's not something I usually, how can I say, it's not something I 100% recommend to clients, unless if you really can't find something that you're looking for. We got really lucky in the sense that like the stone, if we had bought it cut, would have been more expensive than we had paid for it. Like the rough, you never really know what you're gonna get in the end, right? You can look inside of like the raw stone and you can kind of try to like guesstimate, and you can try to find like the nicest areas within the rough, but ultimately it's still a guessing game. So we lucked out because we actually got a nicer stone than if we paid for a cut. Hey! So we do a lot of like rings and stuff, and a lot of engagement rings, a lot of ashes ring, but this year we started to make a little bit more earrings. I think two sets that I absolutely love was one, a client had messaged me from the States and she wanted kind of like these rose quartz pear-shaped droplets completely encrusted with stones. So this was a very intensive project, just in the sense that like there are over 100 stones on like each earring. So the amount of labor in the stonework was like a lot. It was a lot of work. Each little stone is 1 millimeter, so like as you can see, it really fit quite a bit of stones. They came out beautifully. They came out a lot lighter than you'd actually think, which I was super happy about. And it was a really fun project because if you actually look at it, it's actually kind of like an encasing. So I had to build almost like a thicker back where the stone sat on top, and then we actually put the top, those pretty patterns are actually one piece. So we were able to fit it onto each other and lock the center stone within it. So that's basically how we mounted this one. So it's kind of like an unusual mounting, because generally center stones, like they're held more like with prongs or within a bezel setting. But this way we were able to kind of have as much as the rose quartz exposed, letting the most amount of light through, giving that very kind of like pretty feminine, bright look, right? Because if we had like say a bezel, it would have made it a little bit darker. So absolutely love this. I'm very excited for this woman's wedding. I really hope she sends me pictures because they are fantastic. The second pair of earrings that we did that I really liked, I think it was actually like a spin-off of like Kate Middleton's earrings. Obviously she's a very, very big fashion influencer, but anyways, she had these really cute kind of like diamond huggies with pearls that were pending. So we kind of took the same concept and made it our own. So ours we made a little bit more elongated to have kind of like a more refined look, snugger to the ear, and we added pearls. So you can basically remove the pearls on and off, which I think is a really fun concept. Like, I really like the idea that you can kind of play around with your jewelry and have kind of like dual functionality. So depending on what your style is of the day, well, if you're going something a little bit more classic, maybe you'll put the pearls on. If you're not, if you want something more comfort, you can just keep the huggies. Next we have a cocktail topaz ring. This was a really cool project to make as well because I kind of had a little bit of liberty in terms of the design. This was actually a client who was buying this for his wife's birthday present, so I thought that was really, really sweet. We chose a cushion cut topaz and we set it in a way that's really unique. He didn't want the classic prongs. He wanted, how can you say, almost like a semi-bezel. So if you're not sure what a bezel is, it's basically when like the metal is wrapping around the stone versus having prongs. And so he wanted a bezel that was like semi. So it's basically like the middle part is actually cut out and you just have walls on both sides. I'm not a huge fan of that just because she wanted a split shank. So because she wanted a shank that kind of was like one and then opens up into two, if we had had a standard bezel, I feel like it would have been really kind of like bulky and massive. It just wouldn't look nice from like the side views, seeing all that metal in between. So instead, I actually came up with kind of like semi-bezel look that wasn't a bezel. So we created two strands of metal that come almost into a bezel and then go back down. So you were able to still see almost the entirety of the topaz. And having such a nice, vibrant, big stone like that, I feel like you wanted to see more of it. So it came out really cool. It was the first time making prongs like that. So yeah, I really enjoyed it and I'm definitely going to do that again. Next we have my ring. What? So this is like my gift to myself back in like the beginning of the year. I wanted to make myself something really nice. So if you guys know this or follow my channel or follow my Instagram, you'll know that I absolutely love tourmaline. Like I love tourmaline. And my specific shade that I really like is mint tourmaline. So it actually took me a little bit of time to find the perfect stone. Like I think I was looking for like 2, maybe 3 months because I couldn't ever find something that I liked, and so when I finally found it, I was actually able to make my piece. It's like a 3.6 carat mint tourmaline Asher cut. I love it when there's like a certain like refinement to metal, like when things are twisting and moving. You know, I think a lot of times when I see jewelry, it lacks like a certain flow to it. It looks bulky, it looks unrefined. I see that a lot. So I wanted to create, you know, like a bigger piece, but that's fully organically like moving. And so the whole ring is actually twisting. Like if you spin it on itself, the whole ring is doing this. There's a mix of kind of like, I did bright cut pave and I also did florals along one side encrusted with little diamonds. So yeah, I absolutely love this piece. It's very rare that I actually get to make jewelry within my own style because as a custom designer, we kind of like embrace what the clients want and embrace kind of like their styles and aesthetics. We obviously always kind of make it our own because it's our own interpretation, but ultimately it's still the client's ideas, and so being able to make my own piece was like a lot of fun for me. Another piece that I really liked, it was a floral haloed engagement ring. It featured a really big spinel. I don't remember how many carats it was, but it featured one oval spinel in the center, kind of like a purplish blue with pear cut and marquise diamonds on the side. I thought it was a really nice piece, and I thought it was great because I think the client wanted something that was a little bit more ethical, but she was really open to a lot of options, which I thought was really fun because it gives you a little bit more array of options, a little bit more array of colors. Like we were originally looking for sapphires and ended up with spinel. I don't think a lot of people consider spinel or like other gemstones other than like the top 3, you know, diamond, emerald, sapphire, but like they were really nice stones also, and so it was really fun opportunity to kind of feature like a non-traditional gem. The diamonds on the side really just kind of like made it pop. Also underneath of it, I didn't just do like a classic like setting. I mimicked the top on the base, and so I actually reproduced kind of like the same floral image that like shaped the contours of the stones up from the top on the bottom. So it had like a really nice finishing to it. A really cool piece that we also did was this giant cocktail ring. It was actually a rutilated quartz. It's not a stone that you traditionally see because it's not necessarily the most expensive stone. It's not like some high quality, you know, it's still a quartz. But rutilated quartz is interesting because it has really fine filaments of like gold looking strands. I think originally they used to say that it was like Venus's hair trapped within the stone. But yeah, we did a really cool montage of it because the whole side of it is just so elegant. It's really classic, it's really simple, but the lines are just really well done. Like I was just really happy with this piece of how it turned out. We had baguettes, white topaz on each side. These we actually had to have custom cut because we couldn't find them. We added them to the sides and it just had such a nice flow. Like we'll show you images of what it looked like on the side and you'll just see what I mean. Like the whole gallery, like that's what we call the gallery, is those like stones, the montage of it. It just came out really beautifully. Another really cool piece that we did was an ashes ring. Like I mentioned earlier, we made a lot of ashes rings this year. What this is basically like we create like a little compartment within the jewelry that we insert the ashes and then seal it shut. We did this with a cushion cut blue zircon stone. If you don't know what zircon is, it's not to be confused with cubic zirconia. It's not the same stone. Zircon is a natural stone. It is the December birthstone. It comes in a few different colors. We had used this stone in a shade of blue, almost kind of like similar to topaz. Like I feel like most people, if they saw the ring, they would assume that it is topaz. Zircon is a little bit more expensive than topaz, but it's still a really nice stone. It has a little bit of a nicer refraction. But yeah, we basically created this ring with a twisted shank and like a square center stone. So it was very simple, very nice, and I think it had a lot of meaning obviously for our clients. So those pieces are always jewelry that I do enjoy working on because I know that it has a lot of meaning for clients. Yeah, I've always really enjoyed doing custom design. I've worked in huge jewelry companies and it's just, you don't really have that connection with clients the way that we do. We do really everything custom. We really work hand in hand with our clients. I'm really happy to have been able to do custom design for as long as I have and to continue to do custom design. The people that we meet, the stories that we hear, the importance, you know, custom design has a lot of symbolism a lot of the time, so we get to just hear a lot of really cool things and learn a lot from our clients. This was a really fun recap of 2021. Obviously not all of our pieces are in here. If you want to see everything we do, you can go on our website, you can go on our Instagram, yada yada. I just want to thank you guys for another amazing year. I'm very excited for 2022. I'm very excited to keep making you guys custom jewelry. By the way, let me know which ones you guys like down below because I'm very curious which ones are your favorites. Yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.